Ta-da! I have made it another day. So, I kind of have something in my head that I want to say, and I don't know how well it's going to come out, so I'm just going to try it out here. But, does anybody know the purpose to life? You know, not the meaning of life, but the purpose of life. Because I know the purpose of life. It's a very simple thing. I think I've mentioned it before on this channel, but I'm gonna say it again. But the purpose of life, in its simplest form, is to pass on information. That's it. Now, with trees and lizards and rabbits and, other life forms on this planet, their purpose is to multiply in whatever genetic code that they have that works the best, that keeps them alive. They pass it on to the next generation, and so forth and so forth. In fact, that's partly one of the things about evolution. For animals, there is minute differences that animals have adaptations to certain areas as they move to different areas or things change around the world. They become a little bit adjusted. So, but the purpose of life is strictly to pass on information. But then you think, well, we're a little different, which I don't think we came from evolution. If we did, we would be a hell of a lot better than we are now. I mean, we wouldn't be, having broken backs at 40 years old. Well, not broken, but, stressed out backs. And maybe we're living wrong. Maybe we didn't have bad backs in the past. But, if we evolved, we should be a lot better. I mean, there's animals that can change their skin color and breathe underwater and fly and do all these different things. And yet, we have to have tools to even make it through life. So, but it got me thinking about the purpose of life of, what is the purpose of life for a human? Because we can do more than just pass our genetic code, I mean, we can create art, music, and, write stories and teach, and, we can also help as well as hurt others around us, We build by destruction, but it kind of got me thinking, because it was a saying, and I forgot where I heard it, and and I wish if someone knows, please say what it is. And my camera keeps. Let's try to. But it was a saying that the greatest thing in this world is an old man who plants a tree that he will never know the shade of. And that's been kind of living in my head for a while. But, and I actually got in a conversation with one of my customers and was kind of going over this with him. And, and he was like, he's like, hey, I got a 10-year-old grandson. And he's like, I'm scared to death for him. And I was like, well, be that old man who plants a tree. I said, not literally, but, give him a seed of knowledge as far as, showing him morality and what's right and wrong. And, and he's like, well, he's always too busy playing, Pokemon or something. I was like, well, get down and play with them and have him tell you about all the different animals and who's the good people and the bad people and why they're good, Pokemon and bad Pokemon, and have him understand the difference between good and bad. He's like, I never thought about it like that, and he hadn't got a little emotional, but that's that's fine, because he's trying to do right by a younger generation, and there's so many people that don't consider that what we do day to day affects other people. I mean, I could be having a bad day and I go into a restaurant which this is figuratively, I haven't done it, I'm just saying, but I can go into a restaurant, let's say I get a horrible hamburger, or I find something in the hamburger, and the next thing you know, I'm, upset, and I'm, saying bad things toward the waitress who did not prepare the food or anything like that. But I'm just saying, there's things in our lives that affect others in ways that we don't know. We don't know, the trials and tribulations of the person next to us, and we say, negative things, or sometimes the lack of saying good things to somebody, can hurt just as much. I'm not saying go out and, say good things to every single person you on the street, but I'm not saying don't do that either. But I was just thinking, we're here for a reason. And I can go into a very long conversation about theology and, ancient religions, and in some aspects we can even talk about aliens. We were put here on this planet. We did not come from fish frogs. We did not come from monkeys. We did not come from, amoeba crawling out of the ocean. That's not what happened. We haven't been around long enough. Anybody who says we've been here for millions of years, it's impossible. It can't happen. The numbers don't line up. In fact, there was one thing I remember reading about that, if you go back and trace everybody's ancestors, taking into account for famine and wars and all the diseases that have, killed more than a normal year, but it actually goes back to, around 12,000 years ago, which they say is the time of Adam and Eve, And it may have been a skewed study. I'm going off something that I watched on a documentary. Does that mean it's 100% right? No, I'm just saying, I see things and they say they're right, so I believe them until I prove them wrong. And I don't have the time to start counting, 8 billion people. It's a little above my pay grade. But I would like to mention just, in the day-to-day activities of just, understanding that just because you're having a bad day or if you're having a good day, that your actions can affect others, and, just try to do right by others. I went to the Salvation Army today and bought me a whole bag full of clothes for $17. Got me 3 outfits. While there, I got in a conversation, and, the guy who was talking with me was most likely, fabricating the truth. But he was saying that how, he's working at Salvation Army. Seemed like a nice guy, but he said he wanted to buy an apartment complex so that, get rid of the slumlords that was running it, and, he wanted to run it right. And, I didn't ask him, but I'm assuming that, he was at the apartment complex he wants to buy, and he thinks he can run it well. And I said, well, have you ever ran an apartment complex? He says, no. I said, how about before you buy one, you go and, work at one and understand what happens on the other side of the counter. That way, at least you have a general knowledge of how it works before you just go and spend millions of dollars buying an apartment complex. And I says, most of them are bought by major corporations as tax write-offs, and they don't care about the people that are there. They're bought as a side investment of a multi-million-dollar corporation, and it's just like, it's an expenditure for tax purposes. I'm not saying all of them, but I do know that there's a lot of big corporations that have, pieces of property strictly as what do you call it? Whenever you just, having different accounts that you can make money off of. So, I apologize. I'm sitting here. This is live action, by the way. But diversifying. So they're just diversifying their portfolio by buying an apartment complex or a building or whatever, and anyways, I'm getting a little off track, but I was talking with him, and, I explained to him, I was like, listen, if you have enough money to buy an apartment complex, why not just retire and enjoy your life and help out others? And, oh yeah, that's a better idea. And it just, people have these, they get focused sometimes, and I do believe that being focused on a passion is a wonderful thing. It's how most stuff gets done, but sometimes it's good to just step back and, look and say, okay, am I still looking at the right thing? Am I still focusing on the right thing? And, and I might be a little all over the place by this conversation, but it's just something that, this is what I think about on a daily basis. This is something, I'm always trying to figure out a better way to do something. I'm trying to figure out a way to help people. Every chance I get into a probably a deeper intellectual conversation than I need to. You know, in fact, most of the time at the end of the conversation, I'm like, well, you weren't expecting that from a door guy, and I'm like, nope. You know, all of them are like, you kind of took the conversation in a place I never thought it could go. And, you know, but that's the purpose of this channel. That's the purpose of everything I do, is I want to try to make the world a little bit better. You know, I mean, I don't have the money to go out and, you know, buy new eyeballs for people like Mr. Beast, which I'm glad he does have the money to do stuff like that. I don't have the money to go out and help people out. You know, when I do have money, I do try to help out as many people as I can. I mean, I've given away more cars to people than others have. Well, than most others. You know, I've given away, I think, 6 cars in my lifetime. You know, I give stuff to people who are trying. You know, now if you're homeless or sitting on the side of the road begging, I could care less about you. You know, but if you said, hey, I don't want to do this anymore, I want to be better, I want to make money, I want to be self-sufficient, I will do everything I can to help someone out. You know? And does that mean I'm just going to give them stuff? No, they're going to have to work for it. But, you know, people appreciate stuff more when you work for it versus, you know, things that are given to you. But anyway, sidetrack. Going back on the whole purpose of life, I see so many people like laser focused at themselves in the mirror. You know, I've been to so many homes to where the wife, or the mother, I should say, not the wife, but the mother is so self-absorbed that they let their kids do whatever. You know, and I'm not thinking about anybody in particular. I'm just saying as a general view, in case one of my customers are watching or something like that. This is over 23 years of me just sitting back and observing different households. You know, there's families that have their stuff together at a level that, you know, no reality show could ever be as good as them. You know, and then I've seen other households that no reality show could ever get as bad as them. You know, I mean, like, I try to stay out of people's businesses, and I've mentioned before that there is one time that I had to call, you know, social services on a family because it was just that bad. You know, but then I've also met families that were so awesome that, you know, even now I get a little emotional at, you know, like how awesome they were. So, anyways, this is just kind of remember that we have a purpose, and our purpose is to spread information in the most basic form of life is to pass on information. So, I guess tomorrow when you wake up, what is going to be your purpose? What information are you going to spread to the world? You know. And again, you don't have to help people. I mean, Hitler spread a lot of information out there. I don't agree with 99.9% of it, but there is some things that he said, you know, that wasn't bad because he tried to do right by his people. The problem is everything else he did, you know, he tried to say, okay, my people were awesome. Let's go do something great. But he did it in the worst possible way. He could have accepted the differences that he had with people, you know. And just to be clear, in no way am I condoning anything about white supremacy, Hitler, KKK, fuck them all. Okay, they deserve to die. But I believe that everybody should be equal. I don't think that, you know, because someone's white that they're less or more. I think I've mentioned this before. Wow, this took a little left turn. I didn't mean to go here, but, you know, since we're here, you know, racism in general is, since we're passing on information, I'm going to go ahead and keep going down this road. But racism is the most stupid, idiotic thing that I've ever seen on this planet, and I'm going to tell you why. Nobody got to choose what color skin suit you're wearing. Okay? If you are a Native American, you did not choose to be a Native American. You were born a Native American. If you are white, Hispanic, black, it doesn't matter. No one got to choose what skin suit that you were able to wear. Okay? You can't take this off. You can modify it, but you can't take this off. You are born in it as you are. Now, the culture that's connected to certain races, you can be prejudiced for a culture, like the redneck community that I was raised in. Okay, now I'm not a redneck. Okay, and parts of my family are not rednecks, but parts of them are trailer trash, backwoods, redneck, bush beer drinking, old pickup truck driving motherfuckers. Okay, I understand the lifestyle. Okay, does that make me, and I don't agree with that lifestyle. I'm not saying it's bad, but I don't agree with it. I have no interest in being a redneck. I'm glad we have them because there were some engineering motherfuckers. But excuse me for cussing, I apologize. But I'm getting a little lively in my conversation. So, but wow, boy, I went on a little tangent here. So, anyways, let's go down the road we're already on. But I don't agree with the way that they live their lives. I don't agree with some of the things that they say and do and things like that. But does that make me a racist because most of them are white? No. But I don't, just like, in the black community, there are wonderful people who live their lives while being black. They deal with a bunch of bullshit that I could never even understand because of rednecks, and because of racist white people, which have nothing to do with race, but that's what it's called, but it's I've met so many people of all races that are great, but I've met people in that same race that are horrible, drug dealers, thugs, they're in everywhere. But I'm just saying, there is a culture, and I'm going to call it the rap community, that there to be properly in that community, you have to be a drug dealer, a thug, and there's other terms for it, and I'm not trying to pigeonhole, but I'm saying as a broad brush general view, the hardcore rap community is about violence, killing, the gang set, all this kind of stuff, and I don't agree with that. Does that mean I hate all black people? Hell no. I hate any white person that acts the same way. I hate any Asian that acts the same way. So I shouldn't say hate, but it just, I don't approve of their lifestyle. I have no interest in being part of it. Now, I love rap music. Absolutely love the break beats. I love, especially the 80s, that shaky ass music, and Hoochie Mama, and 95 South, DJ Trans, Magic Mike, and if you don't know, you have no idea who I'm talking about. But I love that old Florida shake that ass, bass music. That's what I was raised on. I still love rap music today. And luckily, there's been enough of a spread of the genre that I found some artists that are wholesome while being insane lyricists. Dax, for example, he's a hell of a rapper, but he doesn't talk about drugs and violence and, beating up on a bitch and everything else. He talks about, he's not necessarily, he's definitely not a Christian rapper, but, at least he tries to teach a positive message while still cussing and drinking. So, but anyways, this, again, the purpose of life is, to spread awareness, whether if you want to spread a negative message and that's your purpose of life, then understand it and do it. Hopefully you don't have a long life, but if you want to spread a message of good and equality, and do that as much as you can. Try to do right by people. I don't know where I just went with this whole thing. I'm just trying to do something good. I'm trying to go out of my comfort zone instead of just saying, hey, this is what I did today. I'm trying to make people think, make people, just do a little bit better. Or hell, if you're an evil person, do a little bit worse. I mean, we gotta have evil people, right? If we don't have evil people, then the good people aren't as good. That's some serious yin yang bullshit, ain't it? Anyways, this is my attempt to help out at least one person today. But I've been getting in some very deep conversations today. Anyways, hopefully you took the good message I was trying to portray, and understand that I am not about negativity, and I see everybody as the potential of good. That's a good way to put it. That's good English coming out today. But I see people as the perception of good until they show me that I can't look at them as good people anymore. Yeah, that sounds good. Anyways, on that note, and on a weird journey that I just went on, peace, love, money, I'm out.